Welcome to another episode of my Stitch Diaries. Now, I've got absolutely loads to show you today. I've got some dressmaking, well, a number of dressmaking actually, bag making, free motion embroidery, crochet. I've done an online pant sloper class, which I'll explain more what that is. And I've been involved in a design challenge as well. And did I mention crochet? A couple of things I've had through the post. Yeah, there's loads to show you. Now, the reason I've got so much to show you is I haven't done a video since the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. It was just a really sad time after she died, and then, you know, leading up to her funeral and things. And I didn't really feel like sitting in front of the camera, really. And yeah, and it was just a sort of a sign of respect as well for the Queen. I don't judge anybody that did have videos in that time, you know, everyone does what they've got to do for themselves, but it was my personal choice. And yeah, so the things have built up on me. And my middle son, who's gone into his first year of this course that he's doing at college, he's got some really funny hours where sometimes he's only there for 2 hours, and that's for 3 days of the week. They weren't supposed to be longer, but a teacher has left, so I don't know if they're going to continue. So it doesn't give me an awful lot of time with school drop off, then an extra pickup, and then another pickup later. And then sometimes my middle son that's there longer has a later pickup than my youngest son. So yeah, I'm running up and down at the moment. So you're getting time to film, you know, is not all that easy. Now, what I'm going to mention first, now in a post I posted on Instagram, which went over to my Facebook craft account, I said I was going to wear my Jessica dress when I did my next filming of my Stitch Diaries. Now, you probably don't even remember that, but if you do, I'm sorry that I'm not wearing it. I've got it here. This is the Jessica dress by Sew Me Something, the pattern designer. Now, I did show it in my last video. You kind of saw it at fabric stages and then made up, and then I showed you the photographs. I was going to wear it, but the UK weather, it's took a bit of a turn for the colder climate, should I say, and that is why I'm wearing a jumper, because this room is very cold. So yeah, I'll pop that there. So yes, I'm sorry I'm not wearing it, but I hope you understand. I'm wearing a shop bought jumper. You know, it's knitted. It's acrylic, so it's not anything like fancy. It's from H&M, and but I am wearing my Avery leggings that I made. They're the Avery leggings by Helen's Closet, and I've got those on underneath. So yes. So what have I got on my list? Now, I wrote a list, and I know I've missed things off it, but I'm going to try and follow this list. Now, in my last video, I said that I'd been cutting something out, and I cut it out, I made it, and I've posted a photograph of it, and it is actually a witch's cloak for Harry Potter. Now, there is a day called Back to Hogwarts Day that I would have loved to have attended, but with my family commitments, it's in London at King's Cross Station. Excuse me, my nose is running. It's that time of year again. Please bear with me. Editing already. So anyway, yes. So it's in London. Like, we're only a couple of hours drive from London, so it is achievable. But when you've got, you know, children that, you know, you're running around after, it's not all that easy when it's on a school day as such. But were they at school? Oh yeah, just family commitments. I couldn't go, but I did make something for the occasion, and I was going to do a Harry Potter special video for that occasion, but then it didn't end up happening with the Queen and everything, as I say. So I have got that make here. Now, the pattern was a free pattern by someone called Fleece Fun. Now, I'd not heard of before. It was a blog, and I came across it because I was looking looking for a pattern for a cloak, and I found this one. Now I didn't know which house I was going to do it in. Now I have done an online thing. Now sorry if you don't know much about Harry Potter, but in the films and the books, the children go to Hogwarts and they go to a ceremony where the sorting hat gets put on the head and they tell them what house they're in. Now you can find out what house you're in by going online, and I'm in Ravenclaw. That's where the sorting house put me. However, I don't mind wearing clothes for Hufflepuff, Gryffindor or Slytherin. I'm a Harry Potter fan. I'll wear any of them. So basically, when I went to John Lewis to buy my fabric, I was open-minded. Basically, I ordered the badge off Amazon for each house, the iron-on badge. And I thought what I'll do is I'll order the badges and the ties. Now, the only tie I didn't order was the Hufflepuff tie, because when I read the reviews on Amazon, people were complaining the colour wasn't right because it's yellow with a blue stripe. So I just ordered the others, but I've since got the Hufflepuff tie. However, at the time I knew I wasn't going to have the Hufflepuff tie, so I knew I probably couldn't make the Hufflepuff cloak. So I went to John Lewis. I found some black fabric. The label wasn't on it, but there was a label next to it saying Garbadine, so maybe it is Garbadine, but obviously I couldn't say for sure, but that's what it was sold to me as, because we couldn't really figure it out. Now, there was a fabric that was suitable for Gryffindor, which is kind of like a maroon colour, but it was classed as a premium lining and was going to cost way more a metre, where I found a low budget blue, which is Ravenclaw colour, the house that I'm in, at £4 a metre. So I decided, yes, I'm going to go for the Ravenclaw. I know I've got the tie coming, I know I've got the badge coming, and now I have the fabric. So I'll get the cloak for you. Now, I have taken a photograph of myself. Now, in my videos, sometimes I'll warn you when I'm putting a photograph up, and sometimes they just pop up, because sometimes when I do my editing, I think, oh, I've got a picture, and if I can find it, I'll pop that photograph up. So sometimes that happens. But yes, I will put the photograph up of me wearing this, and this is what I posted on Back to Hogwarts Day. And I'm actually wearing my youngest son's school shirt in that photograph. All I've got on underneath is just some denim shorts. I haven't got a school skirt or anything, but if I ever went to an event, I'd probably make a grey skirt or pick up one from the charity shop or something. So anyway, this is my cloak, and I'm absolutely delighted with it. Now, the sleeves are fabulous, look, and you've got this bit down the front. Now, I've just put a pin here to keep it on the hanger, and that's my badge. And I have purchased this sew on toggle, so I won't need to pin it, but I've just yet to sew that on yet. I just haven't got round to doing it. And yeah, I absolutely love it. Now, mine is the smallest adult size, but I have made it a little bit smaller because it wouldn't actually fit the width of my fabric, so mine is coming in a little bit. But yeah, but it's absolutely fine. And yeah, I'm really delighted to have a witch's cloak, and I've been meaning to make one for ages. So I will come into a video wearing this, but it will probably be in one of my doll diaries when I do a Harry Potter special, and I'll probably show you the other badges and the ties and things, other Harry Potter related things in that video. But obviously I'll leave that, you know, here for now. I knocked a Barbie off. As you might be able to see, there's a few Barbie. If you don't really know much about me as a YouTuber, my channel started off as, you know, all about stitching, but I do have a doll series now, and where I'm sharing like Barbie dolls, Harry Potter dolls and things. But there will be Disney dolls as well, so I might do a Disney special. So, but anyway, back to the Stitch Diaries. So, my next thing here, I'm going to do a little bit of crochet. I will go back to dressmaking and things, but I'm going to show you my crochet daisy. Now, you've seen my crochet daffodil. It's a Toft pattern. I bought this as a kit, so I got the yarn, this lovely soft alpaca yarn, and now the daisy, well, the daffodil has got a friend, the daisy. Now this again, it was a kit with the fabric, with the yarn, but you do choose the yarn. So I chose which shade of green I wanted. I had cream, not white. And here are my efforts. So they're absolutely lovely, aren't they? Now I did photograph them in the garden when it was a tad warmer, but these are actually sitting in my hallway now. I've actually got a some candle holders in a it's like a thing in 3, and these 2 are sitting on the 2 outside ones, and they look so cute actually, because they've got these bulbous bellies, and they kind of sometimes they sit all slumped in it, and they look so comfortable. And yeah, so they've brought a lovely bit of colour and delight to my hallway, and they're absolutely lovely. Now I haven't got any more plans to make any summer flowers as it stands, but I do plan on making some Christmas ones. I don't know if they'll be this Christmas, because I've got some Christmas balls I need to catch up on, which I haven't been knitting. You may have noticed, but yeah, if it's not this Christmas, it'll be the Christmas after. But yeah, we'll just see how things go. I'm not going to be able to make all that much for Halloween this year, because I've got so much Christmas I need to be getting on with. But I have made something Halloween already this year. I don't think I've shown you this already, but I made and I haven't posted this on my Stitch Diaries either. I actually made a dress for a Barbie doll. It's my own design, and it's actually out of fabric from a dress that I made for myself, and a Halloween dress. And I wore it to Warwick Castle. So if I can find some photographs of that, I'll pop it up for you to see. But yeah, so that's my little nod to Halloween this year. And if you get the Create and Craft magazine, I think some of my makes might be in it, because I sent off some. They were asking for Halloween makes, and I sent some off, and the editor did contact me saying, oh, could they use them, and I've said yes. And naturally, a friend of mine has spotted some of my makes popping up on their Facebook page, which has been nice. So yeah, so my name isn't on them, but you might, if you follow Create and Craft, you might have seen so there was a couple of my photographs that my friend has tagged me in. I haven't actually seen the post myself, only a screenshot of it, but yes, but that's what's going on the Halloween front. And we always celebrate Halloween lots. It's my birthday month, you know, I love Halloween. But yes, I've got so much Christmas to be getting on with. Yeah, I don't want to really, you know, start a knitting or Halloween crochet project, in all honesty, because I need to crack on with Christmas. So another dressmaking thing that I've made. Now this is the first thing I've ever made from this designer, and the designer is called the Assembly Line. You may have heard of them if you're if you're really into your dressmaking. Now I have made, I was going to grab it then, but I'm having trouble, no, one-handed, the cap sleeve shirt with fabric that I received in So Hayley Jane's subscription box when I was a subscriber. Now I was a subscriber in around about 2019 when I began being a subscriber, and I stayed in it for about 14 months I think, and I've had a big break, but I've actually just signed up again, and I'm planning, this is my plan, that I'm going to stay in it for maybe 3 months and then end it again. I must admit, I signed up to it, and then I went and did some food shopping yesterday, and yeah, I was a bit shocked how much the prices had gone up on food from the week before, and I think, oh gosh, what have I done subscribing to something? But yeah, I'm just going to see how it goes. I can cancel at any time, so yeah, we'll just see how that goes. Anyway, this is the top that I've made. Now, in the subscription box I was receiving, I was getting 2.5 meters of fabric. Now, I think it feels sort of linen-like, but I don't think it's linen. I think it's a cotton and linen mix. And this is my shirt. Now, I have got some visible understitching on this, because I got the wrong end of the stick on which was going to be I thought that bit was going to be on the outside, but it turns out at the very end, when you finish your cuff, because the cuff is double-sided. You kind of turn, it's kind of turned twice, if you know what I'm saying. That sits on the outside, but you know, it's quite forgiving. Now anyway, what I'll say about this shirt is I try to have a bit of fun with the stripes. So as you can see, I've got stripes going horizontal and vertical on the front. Then I've tried to do opposite then on the arms, on the cuffs. And then what I did is I wanted the skinny stripes on my collar, on the outside, so it's got the chunky on the inside, the skinny on the outside. Now at the back, you'll see that I've got stripes. I've got a centre back seam and the stripes are doing the same. Now what I'll say is the pattern isn't like that. The pattern is one whole piece, but what I did, instead of cutting my pattern piece on the fold, I actually cut it out as two separate pieces, and I added some seam allowance for me to be able to sew it back together. And I actually allowed enough. I worked out what I wanted to do a French seam. So a French seam is an enclosed seam where you sew your fabric wrong sides together, trim, then you sew it right sides together, and it's nice and encased. And then I actually stitched it down, so I've got a line of stitching down the back as well. And this is the smallest size, and it is rather big. You know, I couldn't really size down. Now I've posted some photographs on social media of this already. Now I think one of the photographs I didn't post is one when I was standing. If I can find it, I'll show you. I was standing at the back and had my arms out, and you can actually see how wide. And I know the fashion at the moment, especially with dressmaking, is quite oversized. And you will see that some people look at the finished garment measurements, which I do this myself, and then they'll decide to size down a size or two because they still know they'll have enough ease. Well, the problem I have is I'm often at the smaller end of the patterns anyway, if not the smallest. I can't size down anymore, so it's a lot more effort for me to size down because I have to redraw out lines. It's the same with my youngest dog. He just is too small for dog patterns, so I have a big old rigmarole with him as well. You know, we're very similar, me and him. So anyway, yeah, it was pretty simple to come together actually. The only thing that I did wrong I did sew the sleeves on the right way, right? Then I doubted myself and changed it, and picked it and changed it, and then I realised actually I was right after all, but it didn't really matter. So yeah, I left it as it is. It doesn't look different to anybody else's. It's just if you looked up close, there's some understitching that you shouldn't see, but mine has got this extra layer of stitching, but it looks quite cool actually. So yeah, so it was a nice experience. I think it looks very similar to the Callie shirt. Who are they by? Callie shirt. I'll try and pop that on. I know I have got the pattern for the Callie shirt here somewhere actually. Yeah, I can't see. I've got loads of things to show you. So yeah, I can't do that now. So what should we talk about now? Oh, I'm going to quickly mention before I show you some more makes. There is more dressmaking as well. So if you're into dressmaking, please don't go yet because there's still things to show you. I had some things sent from two people that view my channel. It was very kindly sent to me, and one of them is Isabel. Now Isabel said would I like some scraps of fabrics and things, some fabrics she was going to send to me. Now she was over, she lives in Spain, but she was over in Scotland, so she posted these from Scotland and they came next day, and she sent me a whole box of things. Now there was a lot of like, I think it's, what would you call, pleather pieces that are left over from bag making and things. Now in all honesty, the box was so big when it arrived, I've had to put it in the loft because it was just so big. I can't actually put it in here, I hadn't got the room, but over time I'll delve into it. And thank you so much, Isabel, for sending that to me. And yeah, I can't wait to show you some of the things that I will make from it. Now she put in a little something for me. Now Isabel, I have been keeping this in my youngest son's bedroom. Now, he absolutely, we both love it. Now, I'm a chicken keeper. I absolutely love my chickens, and my youngest son is the most passionate child about the chickens. I've got 3 boys, and my youngest is the most passionate, and he puts them to bed. He fusses over them, picks them up. He's with them every day, basically. So I put that on his windowsill, and he is so chuffed about it. I've got a duck on my bedroom windowsill and a star, and I actually have got a chicken on my bedroom windowsill that I made in a plant pot. But yeah, so he's got this on his bedroom, so you can see this from the front of my house. So thank you so much, Isabel, for sending those pieces of fabric. There's some really lovely delights in there, and I was so happy to get the chicken. Now, also, I have been sent something. Oh, hang on, bear with me one moment. I'll go and get it, and I will come back. Oh, have I got it? Oh, I've got it. Right, Helen has sent me some fabric and a little something in the post as well. Now, I said I didn't know if I was going to show it in my doll diaries or my stitch diaries, but I've decided maybe both. So she sent me a couple of pieces of fabric. Now, these are in here because I can just about manage to fit these in. But this is a, what would you call this, Helen? Is it like a tulle kind of fabric? It does look like it doesn't feel as stiff as tulle, but is it organza or something maybe? And this is like a satin kind of fabric, or a satin look about, very similar to my Ravenclaw kind of look. It does feel different. Yeah, but lovely. You could actually have like a bridesmaid. It reminds me of like a bridesmaid dress kind of thing. Maybe that's what these are left over from. Bridal, maybe. I don't know. So thank you so much for sending those, Helen. And she also sent, I'll pop those down there now, this fabric. And it is it's like a velvet. I think it's stretchy. Let me feel it. Let me find the selvage. Yes, it's stretchy. It's would you call it 4-way stretch, they call it. It doesn't have much stretch on the length, but it does stretch on the width. Now, initially I was thinking this screams figure skating dress. Be lovely to do a competition in it. However, I think the dressmaking pattern I've got, I don't know if I traced it or not, but you need 4-way stretch. You need basically you need the fabric to stretch length, width, and crosswise grain, where I don't think this might have enough stretch. Now, it probably would if maybe I sized up, but you have to climb into it and things, and I don't know if I traced my pattern. I may have just cut it out. I might have been a bit naughty, I don't know. But yeah, but I'll see what I'm going to do with this, Helen. Watch this space. I don't have any immediate plans at the moment, but it's always good to have. And she sent me a little something which I could have included in my doll diaries. Now, she sent me a photograph. She said, what do you think of this? And I was like, eek. Now, it is Playmobil. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It is a toy. And look, it's a dressmaker. Isn't it lovely? Now, I haven't got this out of the box yet. So what I'll do is, when I'm off camera, I will unbox it. I'll take a photograph or a video of it, and I'll put it into my video, either while I'm talking, or while I'm talking, and I'll put it at the end or something, and I'll show you that up close. But it's so much fun. Thank you so much, Helen. I really appreciate that. I just think that is absolutely delightful, and I will definitely display this little dressmaker. Right. So I hadn't got these on my list. I think they might be at the end, but I thought I'll put those in now. Now, Poppy to Fry. Now, it is to fry. I used to call her to fray, but to fray or not to fry. That's what I was thinking. Her name's to Fry. And I was in her free motion embroidery bag club. So you've seen one of the bags already on my stitch diaries. I'll just grab it. It's the one you've seen already. have a drop. Now this is the one you've seen already. This was called the Mousel bag, spelled mouse hole. It's called Mousel, and it's, you know, a crossbody bag with an adjustable strap, zip on the back, and a foam pocket inside. Now I have used this bag loads and loads, and you see this is all free motion embroidered on it. Now I've showed you it before, I've showed you photographs, but I've made one of the other bags. Now there was 3 bags in this course, and I've only made 2 of them. I've made the first one and the last one. I haven't made the middle one. Now the reason I hadn't made the middle one is because that one looked a bit more kind of wintry, a bit more bleak, the scenery, and I thought, well, I'll get the summery looking one out the way and done with, and it was still a bit warmer and sunnier when I made it. Now I have posted a photograph of it on social media, but here it is in the flesh, so to say. Now this is a backpack with a hanging loop with but these are adjustable because you tie them in knots on here, so you can have them as long as you want them, and it's got a button on the front. Now it's free motion embroidered. Now this is obviously Poppy's design, but I have tinkered with it a bit. I've bought this sunbait, the swimmers in more centre because I wanted a bit more of a focal point in the middle in the sea, and I've added, now Poppy did some lives in the club, but I think I've only watched one of the lives, but I think in one of the lives she did some sea lions, and she shared a photograph of these 3, so I had a look, so I thought, oh, I'll put a sea lion on my bag, and this is my effort. And I've done it there, look, and I've also, for my youngest son, who's shark crazy as well as chicken crazy, he's always been crazy about sharks, and you know, I've crocheted him sharks, bought him shark things, you've got toy sharks, you name it, he loves them. He's passionate about the sea and things. I could see him, you know, living at the sea and doing a job there, you know, that's the kind of boy I could imagine him. And so I did a little shark, excuse my nails, I've got no nail varnish on. I did a little shark fin there with my son in mind. And this bag is, it's just got a plain blue lining with a foam pocket inside. No zips in this one. Now, I don't know when I plan to make the Zenna bag. This one was called, this one is called Take Me Back to the Beach bag. And that was the Mosel. The other one's called the Zenna, but yeah, I'm yet to make it, and that's a big shoulder bag. But yeah, I've just been like getting involved in this design dressmaking design challenge, and I did this online class. Actually, having the break from videos give me a chance to do this class, actually, because it was quite involved, you know, while I wasn't doing videos. Because obviously while I'm doing videos, it gives me less time to make things, because then obviously filming and editing eats up into my actual making time. So anyway, so with Poppy, I have joined her Christmas club, which I have mentioned, and she's got some new kits. Now I know I was gifted a kit from Poppy, wasn't I, to test. And I did buy a couple more, and I'm yet to make them, I'm ashamed to say. But I've got them here. I did show you them before. It's a bit out of season now. It's the Happy Holidays glasses case, which would knock up very quickly. You know, I'm ashamed to say I haven't made it. And what was the other one? Right, yeah, this is it. 8 mini cottages pot. You know, I might still make those soon, actually, before I do any Christmas things, because yeah, it might be nice to just do those, mightn't it? But I treated myself. I've got a birthday coming up, and I treated myself to some more because these are brand new. So these are classed as easy. On these, even though they're poppy, you don't do any free motion on them. They're printed, so you literally just sew them together. So I've got a fabric pot. It's the Christmas cabin storage pot. I'll show you these closely as I've made them, but I've got another advent calendar. Do I need any more advent calendars? You know, I've got pets and things. We can all have our own, can't we? Another pot, a snowy mountains pot, a snowman mini pot, a festive penny purse, and a snowy mountains mini pot. Now I must admit, sometimes I look at these things and I think, shall I buy them? Because I could actually free motion embroider them myself. I don't need them printed. However, having the plain fabrics for the applique I find quite difficult. Now my local quilting shop is actually the Cotton Patch, and you would think, gosh, you would be spoilt for choice. But if you go into store, they don't have the many plains, if any plains, out on the shop front. They've got, when I last went in there, they had a massive, they extended the shop, but that's basically mainly all Cafe facet fabrics, and then a load of it. That basically, I think they're more an online business. So really, you don't really get to see what they've got. And really, what I would like as a local person, I would prefer to go in there and see a big wall of plain fabrics, so I can pick out the right colours, because I'm fussy for my applique, but unfortunately they don't. So actually, they probably lose business from me, in all honesty, because of that, and it hinders my crafting because it's my local quilting shop. But you know, I do love the Cotton Patch. I do shop there, but like I say, it's better online than it is going in there, you know, for choice. You're actually better off if you do plan on visiting there. Have a look, get the codes of things you want to look at, and they will get them for you. But the only problem is, I've done this saying, oh, could I have a look at certain reds and the Christmas and things, and they've bought them down, and I've not been happy with any of them. And you feel so guilty when, you know, you've got these little ladies coming down with these bolts of fabric, and then you say no. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just don't want to do it to them. So anyway, so I am joining her Christmas embroidery club, where they will be embroidered. Now I have got a slight problem, because I leave the machine that I bought set up for free motion embroidery all the time, because I do so much of it, and I use a second-hand machine for my sewing, which I bought from a friend. It's a combination machine where it does embroidery and sewing, but I don't do embroidery like that all that very often. It's nice to have, but I don't do it very often. But I use it as a sewing machine. But on a sewing machine, it's really like the needle threader broke. Now I'm having trouble getting fabric underneath it because of the lever at the back. It seems to have gone, but it has got a knee lift, so I'm having to use the knee lift to get fabric underneath. Now I have basically contacted a local dealer. They said, well, we'll only sort the machine if you bought it from here. I said, yes, my friend did buy it from you, and I bought it shortly after off her, and they couldn't find her on the system. But it turns out it was the mother's shop that my friend bought it from, and they've closed down. But they said they will look at my machine. It's going to cost me £130 something just to have it looked at and serviced, and then they will quote me on what needs doing on it. So yeah, I'm a bit hindered really with my sewing machine, so I might be without a sewing machine for a little while. So yeah, so I don't know what will happen with that. So yes, please feel my pain. I've got like a travel machine I could get at, and I've got an old manual machine I could get out and things. So yeah, there's ways and means, but yeah, when you get accustomed to a certain machine you're used to, yeah, you kind of want to sew on that, don't you? But yeah, there might be ways around it. So now we're at the class I attended. So I'm just looking at the time. What time is it? I've got to pick my son up actually from college soon. So yes, I attended an online class. Now I am I'm subscribed to Craftsy, and you know, you pay for a year and whatever. Now I must admit, I was a member last year and I didn't use it, and then it renewed and they took £79 out of my bank account last December. I was a bit gutted about it, and then I still hadn't used it, so I thought, gosh, I managed to cancel it now, so it's going to cancel in December. But I thought I'm going to try and get something out of it, and I've done the Pant sloper class. Now a sloper, it's basically, what is the definition of a sloper? I don't know, but basically, it's basically a beginning garment, and then from there you'll draft other things. So basically, it was very involved. First thing you do need a friend really to help you do some measuring, and you do need equipment like an owl, a drafting curve, muslin, which calico in UK that is, pattern paper, it says and tag or poster board. I didn't use poster board actually. Regular and red pencils and a razor, scissors, paper and fabric, tape measure, tracing wheel, transparent ruler 2 by 18 inches, transparent tape, pins, pattern weights, hip curve, yardstick, optional, dress form, I didn't use that, identifying stamps, didn't use those, notcher, I did use, pattern hooks, oh no, I didn't use a notcher, I have used one since, pattern hooks, didn't use pattern punch, I punched a hole, yeah, so basically, so it comes with resources you print out yourself, a whole wad of them. Now it gives you a run through what you're going to be doing, but she just talk about it in the video. Now it's not for the faint-hearted. I think you need your wits about you to do this actually. Hang on, let me just grab that. I actually, at one point I wrote notes so I could go away without watching the video. Now I'll get my first sheet. Now to start with, it seems pretty simple. You use a friend, you get a friend, and you can do some of the measurements yourself, but I got my husband, he was my friend, and you fill in some paragraphs of measurements and things, and then it tells you, there's an ease chart on there, but you don't have to worry about that at the time. Then from that, this is when it gets a bit tricky. Look at this page. Basically, you have to take those measurements, then you have to work out different things, like you have to add half an inch to this one, you have to divide that by 4, and then you take that measurement and then you add 1/4 of an inch, and then you take that beginning measurement and then you take away 1/4 of an inch, and you're basically doing all this. Now the maths can get a little bit tricky because all this is in inches, so it can get a little bit tricky. Now I did it right. Now to make it easier, you could kind of I didn't round up or round down to the nearest, but something or other to make the maths easier, but I did it all, and then at the end she said you can do that, so I did it properly, and at the end she did say you can use a contractor's calculator as well.
Motion detected.
Ooh, there's somebody at the door. I'm sorry about that. It was something for my son. I was getting all excited then. Thought, oh, is it something for me? But no. So anyway, now there was another part of this that I got very confused. Now during the video, I tried to always keep my pattern piece, which I was doing this on my hall floor, by the way, because you basically draw a big rectangle, then you start marking your measurements off it, and you do your front piece first, then you trace that to do your back piece, and then you change things on it to make your back piece. Now I did get very confused on one part of the video. I can't remember which bit it was, because she'd actually turned she was working with the paper the other way around and she hadn't mentioned it, and I was marking some measurements on the wrong side, and yeah, I thought, gosh, that's wrong, so I had to cross those out and then go back. However, I got through it in the end, and here are my pattern pieces all cut out. They're not going to look much, are they? That is my front. And this is my back. Now, what you do from there is you make up, you know, a toile basically, which I did, and it's here. Now, I made it out of my, I had some nursery curtains, which when we moved into this house, we did a nursery for my our middle son, which then eventually became our youngest son's bedroom. But then eventually my eldest went into that room and we took these curtains down. And so yeah, I've made, I actually did some red work on it, some Mandy Shaw red work, my first ever red work on this nursery curtain. But yeah, I've kept it because there is a stain on it. There is a stain on this that I've made up. But here is my finished thing. Now, I have put a zip in mine because this is one problem at the fitting stage that I had. So it's a bit creased now. It's been sitting around. Yeah, basically, can you see the stain at all? I'm not sure if you can. Well, the problem that I had is she wanted to leave the opening at the back, and then you can't really tell the fit because, you know, you can't, unless you've got someone to pin it that knows what they're doing. So I put in a zip on that seam line. Now, I've got a little bit of a video of me with them on. You know, you only see kind of the top half, and they're a pretty good fit actually. I was pretty pleased with them. Now, I will warn you, I have got a hole in my back, and it's from where I've had a tube coming out of my back with a catheter to basically collect, you know, urine. I'm very sorry about this, from my kidney. And I haven't got it now, but I've had it in the past. And I've had to, like, you know, tuck the bag into my pants, and it's, you know, not all that nice. But I have got a hole in my back. And yeah, it's, you know, so you might spot it. So I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before on my videos, but yeah, well, I'll do a little bit of a twirl, and so yeah, I'll send you over to that video now. So I hope you've seen those. Though for a first attempt, they don't look too bad, do they? So I'm really pleased. Now, I did suspect that I wouldn't want darts on the front, and it does give me a little bit, they're really comfy, but it does give me a bit of excess here. Now, I already knew this because I've made a skirt before that had darts at the front, and I decided I really don't need these darts at the front here. So she suggests taking that excess away, taking the dart away and taking it at the side seams. Now, I do know that you can add an extra dart at the back as well, so I'm not sure. I'm actually going to make up another pair with omitting that dart, but I'm not sure where I'm going to put the excess yet, whether I'm going to put it into the side seams or if I'm going to put it into the back. I don't know. But what's Susie Furr, that's who does the class, she's very knowledgeable, she really knows her stuff. What she recommends is that you don't alter your original pattern, so don't alter that pattern I've done. She says if you want to change something, because trace it out again, because what sometimes you might do is you might make a change and then decide, actually no, I like the first one better, and then you've changed it. So she recommends tracing it again. Now from this, when I've done my other one, you can then trace like facings and things, and you'll have a pair of tracers. Now I will admit, I would wear these if these were made up in proper fabric, and I'd have gone to a shop and the fit that they are, I would actually buy them, because I'd be thinking, gosh, these were like made for me. You know, so yeah, I am happy with them, but yeah, I'd like to do, you know, try a few things. And I must admit, will I ever buy a trouser pattern again? Maybe not. Maybe I'm just going to make my own, because I know these fit really, you know, with a few tweaks as well. You know, they're really great. They're woven, so they're not made. It's not a stretchy thing. So you know, you've got to expect they've got to have a bit of ease in them, so you'll be able to sit down and move in them and things. So yeah. So overall, I'm really happy that I did that. It did take a bit of time. I did have some head scratching moments, but I'm glad I've done it. And obviously I've still got more to do, but yes, fantastic thing I think I've done there, and I'm really happy I've done it. Right, then I ended up I kind of put that aside because I got involved in a design challenge. Now you might have seen some of these popping up on my Instagram and my Facebook. Basically, it was a challenge by So Confident. Jenny Drew by So Confident. Now she did a 3-day challenge where you could win prizes. You could win like an overlocker, fabric and things, and you know, and if you shared things you were in more chance of entering, taking part, interacting and things. So so I just threw myself into it and I put maximum effort in. However, I didn't win anything unfortunately. Yeah, it's over now, but I didn't win anything. But what they wanted you to do is, she did this vision where she told us to close our eyes, and she told us to visualize this thing where we were going into our town and we're meeting a friend and going to a coffee shop, and then the friend saying, oh, I really like your outfit or whatever, and you say, oh, I made it myself, kind of thing. And you had this vision. Now I actually imagined a dress I'd already made, because obviously some of these people aren't dressmakers already that were doing this challenge, so you didn't need to be one to do it. You could be or you couldn't be. Now I imagined my wilder gown, and I didn't imagine a friend, I imagined my husband, and he didn't ask me about my dress or anything. And she said, and she asked you to imagine looking on a pattern website while you're sitting in the coffee shop. Imagine you can make anything, you know, anything you want to make, kind of thing. Now so I imagined this dress that I'd already made anyway, and I imagined my husband was there and things, and but obviously that's against the thing. It was meant to be something you hadn't made, so I got my thinking cap on, so I tried to imagine another dress, and the dress I imagined was the plum dress by Kokawara Crafts. Now I bought this pattern, I think maybe in 2019, maybe, and I just hadn't made it. I'd had it printed at the printer shop, and I'd printed out the pattern instructions myself, but it turns out I was missing a page, and then I couldn't find my files, but I managed to get them back again off Anna the designer, and I just printed the bits I was missing at home, and I've actually I have started cutting it out. But part of the challenge was your vision, so I did some vision posts, and then we had to basically do another challenge where we either took things off the internet or you could do a bit of drawing. Now I did some drawing, so I took some photographs of fabrics that I own already. She wanted you to look online, but I'd got fabrics. I shopped my stash basically, and I put the pictures in my design board, and I drew some ladies, and I did a checkered one. I know I'd picked a few fabrics, but I've actually gone for the checkered one. So this is the fabric I'm using. I've got a big piece of it somewhere, and yeah, and I've actually started sewing it together. I have a bodice, sort of. I haven't put in any neck find. Yeah, all I've done is I've got to the point where I've done the button plackets without the buttons, and I've sewed the shoulders together. That's all I've done. Now I am going to be making the ruffle sleeved and the short one this time, but I do plan to make the longer one, which I know I don't normally do longer, with the long sleeve, and I think I'm going to make that in the double gauze fabric, the blue one with the little dandelion seeds. I think the dandelion seeds, well, there's some kind of seed on it, because it's a bit warmer, and I'm going to make the longer one with the longer sleeve, so watch this space. But yeah, so that's what's basically at my sewing table at the moment. Obviously this isn't all that seasonal now, it's a bit lightweight, but obviously when I started this the weather was still quite mild, but never mind, I'm not going to let that worry me. If I feel like making something that's out of season, I'm going to make it. I'm not going to get too upset about it, and I hope you don't either. So what is on my bed? So yes, we've had London Fashion Week, which I was quite excited about, but I can't find any videos. I think while we was in lockdown, you know, we had all these lovely shows online, and all they've showed on their YouTube, on the Fashion Council, are stories of people on the street, no fashion shows, which I'm utterly gutted about. So but I know I can get some fashion shows from overseas online, which I'm going to have a look at those anyway. So, and you may have seen I've got a, now sorry, this is crossing over from Doll Diaries a little bit, Edna Mode doll. Now if you're a dressmaker, you might know who Edna Mode is.
Motion detected at the front door.
Hopefully hear that motion. They've not rang the bell, have they? No, they've not rang the bell. Right, bear with me. Sorry about that. Somebody actually has hand delivered a birthday card for me, and I don't know who it's from, but with the beauty of, obviously I can't open the card until my birthday, but the beauty of that thing, I'd be able to look on the camera and see who dropped it in, so that's exciting, isn't it? So Edna doll, she is a Disney character from the Incredibles films, and she's such a character. She's a fashion designer for the superheroes in those movies, and she's a big character. She's very tiny, big character, and she has darlings, and yeah, and she's fabulous. Well, I've got the doll, so but I'm going to show her in my Doll Diaries, because this video is going to be huge, I know it. Now, hurrying it along, because I don't know how long I've chatted for. There's going to be, obviously, in my next video, you're going to see definitely some more dressmaking. I'm really in dressmaking mode at the moment, and I really want to do some of my my cool crafting makes. Those are a must as well. So if and obviously I'm going to be in the Poppy Club, so if I want to keep up with the Poppy Club, so as soon as that kicks off, there'll be like a project a week for like 6 weeks, so I'll probably try and keep up with that and try and fit in my Luna and dressmaking in between, and maybe in the evening obviously I have to choose between crochet, knitting and red work, embroidery and things. I think I'm going to do some knitting, but I haven't cast on anything at the moment. But when I'm doing the Luna makes, some of that I do in the evening, because it's a bit of hand stitching involved. So that's what's up and coming. Now I will be bringing some more videos out, but they're going to be doll videos. I so need to do you know, a Doll Diary video, and then I'll have a Harry Potter special maybe sometime in October as well. So next video might be Doll Diaries, but yes, but I'm gonna have loads and loads of sewing and things to show you, and knitting and whatever, but might be less crochet for a little while. You know, obviously I've got to try and fit everything in. So thank you so much for joining me this episode of the Stitch Diaries, and well done if you've stayed with me right to the end. Now if there's time, I might put a little bit of a video in at the end. If not, I apologise, and I'll crack on with some crafting, and I will see you next time. Bye.